let's get going. So good morning and welcome everyone. I'm Tithi. I'm the founder of SmartWiz and creator of Trezi. For those who are not aware, Trezi is world's first immersive platform connecting architects and designers with building product manufacturers and suppliers. Trezi is the ideal way for the architecture, engineering, construction fraternity to work together in these times of social distancing. I would like to start by thanking our eminent panelists to taking time out of their busy schedules to talk to us today. They are all industry leaders and also Trezi users, and I'm really looking forward to them sharing their insights today. I would now like to hand over to Mohit Hira, who will be moderating this panel. Mohit is an advertising and marketing professional, having worked with many large brands in his illustrious career and heads marketing at Trezi. Over to you, Mohit. I'm really very excited about the session today. I hope it's a productive and enjoyable time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tithi, and welcome everybody who's attending this webinar. Welcome to our panelists, Mukesh Savlani, the CEO of Welspun Flooring, C. Haridas, Vice President, Sales and Marketing of Blue Star Air Conditioning, Srinivas Shanbhogue, the business lead at Schneider Electric India, and Rahul Bhatt, MD of Cherry Hill Interiors, the only one of us amongst us who's made it to his office today. Now, I know we've all had an overdose of, the coronavirus and how to cope with it and what is coming, because nobody actually knows what's coming. So we will not go there. We've I think, had more than enough of it. But what we will do is that, this kind of a situation is something that nobody had anticipated, nobody had planned for. All of us have had to adapt on the fly, on the move, and prepare for a future that's changing with every passing day. So what we're going to do over the next 60 minutes or so is to discuss amongst ourselves, bring our experiences and our learnings on how the building industry has been impacted, how it will adapt, and how it will eventually succeed in the new way of living and working. There are new ideas coming into play, new technologies coming into play. Trezi is one of them, where we've seen a huge amount of traction in the last 2 months as a collaboration tool. And this is probably the best time to hear from 4 very diverse firms. Each one is very different in what they do, and yet they're all very critical stakeholders in the industry. It is an interactive webinar. We'll have a lot of time for questions and answers, which you will post. So we will do that. Don't worry about it. Some very quick housekeeping. We aim to do this in about 60 minutes and then keep room for questions and answers. We have about 4 or 5 broad topics, and we'll cover them as we go along. The session is being recorded, and it will be circulated to everybody who's attending this, as well as those who registered and for any reason couldn't attend. So please post your questions as we go along. You don't have to wait till the end. It'll keep coming up, and we will select them and do them. And that's about it. So let me just get started very quickly with the first thing that I want to do is to actually run a quick poll from you people as to which industry you best represent, all you attendees who have taken the time out to be with us. So please do that and let us know how it goes. So the poll is now live and it's running. Let me now move quickly to the discussion as well. I want to get started with the broad subject that we're looking at, which is how has the pandemic actually affected all your industries? And this is specifically for all 4 panelists. What is the immediate impact? How has it affected the business, and how will we come out of it? Were we able to respond fast enough? What changes did we make? How did our strategic team come up with new things, and how did they implement them? So let me get started first with Mukesh of Welspun Floorings, because his clients come from a diverse set of industries, and he's probably at the epicenter of seeing each of them also impacted. So Mukesh, the floor is all yours. If you can just share your learnings on how you were impacted, how is the sector fared, how are you adapting?
So, sector, first of all, thanks for having me here on the platform. Thanks to Titi for inviting me, and it's an honor to be on the platform with such great panelists. So, thank you for that, and honor to be in front of the wonderful audiences. Thanks to each and every one of the audiences to show up and be the part of the conversation here. Thank you. Coming back to you, Mohit, as we all know, so there has been an impact. There has been an impact on the industry. There has been an impact not only on this, but every single industry, every single individual on the planet. So no denying there. There's no new construction happening. Nobody wants people in their homes renovating homes or offices. So that's not happening. So it's practically been a standstill for last 2 months. Thanks to the effort from the government, we have been able to control the pandemic here in the country. It's the most populous nation, and we are seeing the least number of cases and the least number of fatalities. So, thanks to the government, we have been able to control the situation, and things here in India are much better compared to few of the other countries which are as popular as India or as advanced or as developed as India. So it's been a great effort, great collaboration with the government, authorities, people, and I would say we've come a lot further than what at least I thought how India would fare in COVID situation, in a situation like this. So it's been a good run, I would say.
All right.
We are much better here. Specific to the industry, so like I mentioned,
Sorry, Mukesh, sorry, just 1 second. We're getting some feedback from
sure.
the attendees in the chat that your audio is getting muffled, and there's a bit of an echo coming. So I don't know if are you logged in from two devices by any chance, or have you changed your position? Because earlier it was very clear. Can you just check?
Yes, it's only single device. Probably everybody else should mute the mic. Things should be better. Is this better now?
Carry on speaking, then we'll know.
Okay, great. So things have been on a standstill, like I mentioned. It's been a it's uh, as a company, we have a unique advantage wherein we are the only ones in the company in the country who can provide single day installation. So, but who's going to allow people in their homes when there's a COVID issue going on outside? So there's no installation, and we in fact went ahead and developed a low touch installation. A process wherein people will come in your homes, they will literally not touch anything, disinfect the area, do the installation, disinfect the area again, and then leave outside, leave your home within 8 hours. So that's how we have been able to come across. And good part is we are already doing installations in cities like Bangalore. So it seems like things are turning towards greener pasture. It will take time, but we are better off compared to where we were a week back.
All right.
On the commercial side,
I'll come back to you, Mukesh, in a minute. Perhaps at the end of a couple of other questions later. And I want to move on to Hari. Meanwhile, can the other panelists, everybody, I'd request you to mute your mics so that the person who's speaking, his voice comes through clearly and doesn't echo. I think that's the reason why this was happening. So, Hari, at Blue Star, from your perspective, this was supposed to be the start of the peak season for air conditioners, and I guess that's the moment at which the demand started to drop. So, right. How did you cope with this? What are you doing? How are you seeing the thing turnaround starting to happen? Over to you.
Good morning, Mohit, and good morning to all, and a very warm welcome to all those who are attending this and organizing webinar. So, Mohit, as you rightly mentioned, it was about to start. See, we all know that air conditioning is a seasonal business. March to June, that 4 months account for 70% of the tertiary sale. You can imagine 4 months out of 12 months accounting for 70% of the business. we were picking up speed and cruising till first week of March. By the time this global pandemic, the spread from China to all over the world, and even before the lockdown, because of this news spreading of this pandemic, the channel partners stopped buying even before the lockdown, and they also stopped paying in some of the cases, expecting a huge drop in the business. We actually lost the most crucial year-end business. Typically, the last 10 days of any March is very big. I would hazard that our industry, the air conditioning industry, would have easily missed a couple of thousand crores of business just because of the March year-end getting washed out. Last few weeks, the 6 weeks, the business is virtually standstill, but there are some green shoots from the seventh week of lockdown. We have over 6,000 stores across the country, and almost half of them, 3,000 are open, full-time or part-time, depending upon the local authorities' permission. The warehouses have started functioning. Service centers are resuming it. Now the buzzword is contactless selling, contactless delivery, and installation and service. We are hoping that the lockdown 4.0 will see more relaxations so that we can probably gain whatever we lost in the first 8 weeks of this lockdown. Coming to the safeguard measures, what you mentioned, we are completely focused on restart of revenues. Liquidity is critical, so we are working on liquidity. Cash is the king. They say it's very vital for surviving during this difficult time. So we are focused on converting the boxes, the products lying in our warehouse, into cash. We are also looking at completion of projects side by side after a careful evaluation of credit risk. The commercial project side of the business is also slowly opening up. Cutting cost is also becoming very important during these times when we have to safeguard. We are looking at how to move fixed cost items to semi-variable cost and semi-variable to fully variable, so that we safeguard the company's interest and ensure that we are fitter and stronger. Ours is also relationship-driven business. In order to sustain relationship during this lockdown period, we are focused on fast-tracking all digital transformation initiatives. Currently, we are in touch with all the channel partners through digital means and the electronic means, and we have got a dashboard. We have developed a digital tool where we are tracking all the 6,000 stores, the red, green, orange, and focused on fulfilling the needs of the channel partners. And we have created a e-library of collaterals so that the information dissemination can happen digitally. So that every customer touch points, we have given training on COVID safety measures so that our employees and indirect employees and direct employees and channel partners and customers are safe. So in nutshell, we are effectively focused on restarting the revenue, improving the cash flow, cost reduction with surgical strikes on the cost, and keeping all the stakeholders safe so that productivity and morale is on top.
Thank you, Hari. This was extremely useful, and I think what you said about the digital dashboard and building an e-library of collaterals is something that I guess was bound to happen. It's just been accelerated, and
Absolutely.
This is something that I would urge everybody who's attending and is a user of Trezi or wishes to try Trezi out using the free trial. You must go and look at the library of assets that are now available if you're a building product manufacturer. But I'd like to now. Sorry.
Mohit, I'd like to say you're right. What would have otherwise taken 3 months of development is now happening in 4 weeks or 5 weeks.
Right.
Because of.
I get it. So on that note, let me ask Srinivas of Schneider Electric to also come in and give us his point of view, because a lot of new projects, a lot of construction came to a standstill. And how have you literally switched back on, Srini?
Hey, hi. Good morning to everyone, and thanks for giving me opportunity to connect with this esteemed audience here. I think yes, the pains have been the same, challenges and the pains have been similar for everyone, and it's the same for Schneider Electric. But we are a very diverse company. We work from multiple segments, like for homes, residential segment, buildings, industries, data centers. So it's a mixed bag thing for us. Yes, building industry has been severely impacted. While these industries are severely impacted, we had some good feelings on other side. I think. There were some opportunities in critical buildings like hospitals, data centers. There were a lot of things. So we were fortunate to pass through this kind of a state where we had to support a lot of critical infrastructure of this country. So we realized how important it is to be as an organization to equip for this kind of contingencies, because when everything is locked down and in Manesar or some other part of the very rural part of the country, you have to go and attend a issue for your data center, which is critical for most of the things today, or a hospital which is running 1,000 bed and critical care ICU. So we had to really manage ourselves in multiple ways to meet the expectations of this contingency, and it was a very extremely different experience for us. And we are fortunate that we had a very strong organization, a committed organization in terms of building that resilience inside everyone, and moving out of their comfort zones and taking a little bit of risk in terms of meeting the expectations and setting things right for those critical infrastructure. Coming back to business, yes, there are always pluses and minuses. We always felt that there is opportunity in every adversity. I think work from home changed the things for us. We had a lot of large IT corporates reaching out to us to give us UPS for all their employees at home, so that they can work from home more effectively. I'm sure this is a very unique challenge. Every time a power failure happens, you lose your connectivity and you have a challenge. So this is where I think we had some opportunities which we could turn in our favor, which we could do. But otherwise, overall, the situations have been really tough, and I think it will continue to be tough till we really get out of this situation. So it's a good experience for last 8 weeks for large organizations. Different kind of experience, how to prepare yourself and how to prepare your sales force, how to prepare your people for a larger thing game for future. I think what I see in terms of what are the differentiations which could have done for us is primarily on digital. We were always a digital savvy organization, and we had already built in a lot of digital support in terms of meeting our customers, or even to exploring the e-commerce, various other things. So a lot of efforts what we had done in the past, and I think this is giving us a kind of a sense today in these difficult times. So probably it is sometimes good for organization to be ahead of times. You don't know really what it means until and unless you really feel it. So the investment what we had done in digitization and various other things are really meaning a lot to us today. Today we are able to give that seamless service, seamless experience to our customers still. Yes, I agree with the most of the other panelists that the business is largely affected, and I hope this will recover very soon. And probably, it could be, in the interest of a larger economy, we all should work together in pushing these things to a faster track. That is what I have to say, Mohit.
Thank you, Srini. I think what you said is extremely insightful, because our learning, our preparations for the future, our ability to adapt has actually got better. I think that's really where we're all headed. And finally, I want to bring Rahul of Cherry Hill Interiors in, because Rahul, you deal with, perhaps every single product category that exists in the design and construction and architecture industry. How have you seen life change?
Yeah, hi, good morning. First of all, thank you very much for having me here. And thanks to the organizers, to Trezi especially. So I could not hear your question completely, Mohit, but I assume that. So at Cherry Hill, we are basically integrators of I'm saying in various functions come together in a basket actually offer that quick solution. And when I'm talking about aggregating MEP services, which is mechanical electrical, like in like the like we have commissioning services, we have to have electrical services, we have to all have all, which is, for example, in terms of floor finishes, which is
Rahul,
stuff like that.
Rahul, I'm
So
sorry.
we have been,
Rahul, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your voice is breaking up. It looks like there is an issue with the bandwidth of the connection there. I'm getting feedback from several other attendees as well. So would you like to
Mhm.
just switch to a different Wi-Fi if possible? I can come back to you.
Okay, I can
And
try that. Am I not audible at all?
now you are. Now you are. Or if you
Okay,
want, you can mute your video and perhaps we'll just hear you better.
so let me try that.
Yes.
Is it better now?
Yes. Keep speaking and we will know.
Okay, so I was talking about
Perfect.
us as
It's
Cherry
perfect.
Hill. I was mentioning that we are interior aggregators. When I'm saying aggregators, that means that aggregation of various services are put together into one basket, and a comprehensive solution of office interior is offered. So uh, uh, we have to need we need association with people like who are dealing with air conditioning system, or who are dealing with the electrical system, or all other alike, for example, carpet flooring, which is almost 80% of the flooring of generally of all the offices around India. So we have been facing a lot of challenge in terms of getting supplies, in terms of getting people at the sites. People have not been able to commute to the sites. If material was lying at the site, the installer. So it has been a lot of challenge. Well, in our segment, it is hard to function completely from home, but there are certain verticals, certain departments who could function from home, and they could show a lot of enthusiasm from working from home. In terms of, for example, I'm talking about the design vertical. All the designers were collaborating; they were talking to each other. We've been fortunate enough that we've been using Trezi as a support from the last couple of years, and people have been really using that during this time of lockdown in terms of design development and collaboration. But yes, all other verticals, like for example construction vertical, has been facing a lot of challenge because it's been almost it's in on mute. Now that after the relaxations, some of the sites in some of the regions have started working. We've started working on very minimal people working at the site, looking at all other hygiene conditions to be maintained. But very difficult times. And our initially, to begin with, the strategy was that how to make this boat afloat. For that, we had to take immediate measures of, say, for example, managing the cash flows, um, reassuring our people that you are safe. The company is with them, so that gave us a lot of hope, and that gave us they gave the employees a lot of support. Morally, they were all supported, and they were all motivated to work as much as they could from home with the help of digital technologies. But yes, challenges have been there, and they have been there to a larger extent. That is in short. I would like to respond to your queries.
Thank you, Rahul. That was very helpful. I will, before I move to the next subject, I just want to, go back to the poll that we ran, and you should be able to see this on your screens. That we have an overwhelming number of people who are from the manufacturing, from the building product industry, almost 34%, equally split 22% each between architecture, design, and engineering and construction. So there. no students today. I guess there may be exams on or something like that, and we have several who are categorized as others. We'll try and figure that out as we go along, but it's a healthy mix of attendees. I'd like to now move on to the second subject, which is that every crisis there is a silver lining, and we heard from each of you little bits about the things that you have been doing, which are not just positive from a humane point of view, but also from a business point of view. But as the market changes, as demand starts to pick up, as things reopen, as the government stimulus packages hopefully start to work, what kind of demand drivers are you visualizing which could open up new fronts for each of your businesses? For example, I read a newspaper report just a few days ago that the market for white goods will pick up as the lockdown is lifted. Hari mentioned about trimmers and shavers and stuff like that in Kerala, which just flew off the shelves. So coming back to you, Hari,
Yes.
do you see the demand for air conditioners actually going up tremendously, like a surge that happens, in a hockey stick formation? And how is Blue Star gearing up for this kind of demand?
Yeah, Mohit. Actually, it's our hope and wish that this happens. If you all see, there is a huge awareness of health and safety now, thanks to the Prime Minister's Manki Baat. Now, everyone knows whether it is an urban or a rural setting. Everyone knows about social distancing, working from home. Immunity is become a buzzword. Air purifications and ventilations. If you closely observe, people are now paying more attention to air, water, and food. And Blue Star is actually having all products addressing all these three essentials. Air conditioners, we believe are actually beneficial and protect human body from virus like SARS, MERS, and COVID by delivering the right temperature and the humidity around that person. It forms an envelope around the person. It is scientifically proven that a combination of temperature from 24 to 30 degrees centigrade and a humidity of 40 to 70 RH, which is exactly what an air conditioner delivers, reduces the virus efficiency or virus potency. More and more people are working at home today. No aged parents or their children are there. The employees are working from home, and this also will lead to a larger demand for air conditioners. Air conditioners, air purifiers, water purifiers will be topping the shopping list in future. Apart from the smart televisions, in fact, there is a huge demand for larger televisions because more and more people are at home. So air conditioners, air purifier, and water purifier will have a good demand coming up because of all this awareness and the fact that an air conditioner at home will actually provide immunity around that person. So we are geared up with India's first AC with integrated air purifier. It just costs 4,000 rupees more than the normal air conditioners. We are also ready with a super energy efficient AC, which will consume the lowest electricity. When you can imagine, I am using the AC at home even during the daytime, which means my electricity bills are going to be very huge if I don't have an energy efficient products at home. And we are also geared up with air purifier, which kills bacteria and reduces the virus efficiency. We are also ready with water purifier with alkaline water. Alkaline is actually adds immunity, and with minerals which boost immunity. So we have all this range of product which is actually going to provide a safe environment and immunity to the human body. So once the dust is settled, things are back. Let's say all 6,000 stores are up and running. We are looking at a very robust business going up to the festival period. So as you rightly mentioned, so we are looking at better times once the immediate future, maybe a week or two, passes and the lockdown 4.0 starts with more relaxations. Thank you.
That's fascinating, because what you're also saying is that some innovations have happened and are happening as a result
Yeah.
of this, and obviously we have to just buckle down and sweat this out, literally, without punning on heat, but sweat this out until the market picks up, and then we should be back with a bang, is what you're saying. Srini, unlike Blue Star, whose water purifiers, air conditioning equipment, other things are all very visible and there. At Schneider, some of your products are not really in as apparent to customers as they are. Number one. Number two, this whole thing about contactless, and not really touching a lot of the equipment which others may have touched. How do you see Schneider anticipating this, and how do you see demand picking up?
Well, Mohit, I think, as Hari said, for sure there are better times ahead. There's been a very, very strong debate around a lot of economists, a lot of corporates that now what would be the recovery? Is it a U, W, V? It's been a lot of debate around. So yes, I think we definitely see a very strong recovery which is coming up. I'm not a very strong economist, so I don't want to predict, but I see a U kind of a U-shaped recovery which will definitely come up as the lockout opens up. And we at Schneider Electric are preparing ourselves extremely into a post-COVID era. I think which is not going to be the same what it was before. Okay, there would be a lot of change in habits. There will be a lot of change in technology. A lot of things will change around us post-COVID. I think whether we like it or not, these are ahead or in front of us. It is good to embrace, and the companies which would work on this, embracing this technology, would move much faster. So from our side, as you said, contactless, I think it is one of the big trends what we see. Large offices where people sit in a conference room, use the same devices by multiple people, and I think this will have a lot of issue. So companies would look, or office workspaces would, people would look for a lot of contactless stuff. So we are working on a lot of contactless technologies which could change the game post-COVID for a lot of workplaces. Secondly, homes. I think the entire landscape of homes have changed. I think we need bigger homes now. I think when I mean bigger homes, it is not just by size, but look at the kind of activities what people have been doing in homes. Homes have become large playgrounds because children are not going out; they're playing inside homes. Second, it has become most of the boardrooms, office space for a lot of people. They're operating from home. Second, third, I think there are a whole lot of party. Everything happens at home. So home is the space which is going to be redefined for the future. And I think probably Titi, Trezi, and now Rahul will have a lot of role play along with us in terms of co-creating this new place. So this is where now, yes, you rightly said, Schneider Electric is not visible always. Now we are always behind the scene. Now probably yes. Now we are the unsung heroes always. Now that is where now paints, or Hari is very fortunate. Now, he gives a good feel. So so we are the people. Probably we play behind the screens. Safety is one area which is a very, very important area for us when it comes to home. Now that there's a lot of host of activities which is happening, probably someone else is also open, probably can go on mute, other panelists. So safety is one of the very, very important aspects for us for home, where we will invest a lot in terms of bringing in new technologies which will make home more safer. Second, yes, very important to become smart. I think smart homes are becoming more and more smart because you're doing a lot of multitasking and various things at home. So this is very, very evident that smart home as a technology will progress much faster than it was anticipated. Probably in the developed economies and other countries, smart home is already a reality. Every 10 homes out of 100 are smart homes. Probably India today, now we have one home out of 1,000 is a, no, so not even 1,000, 100,000 is a smart home. So our penetration of smart homes in India is very limited. Probably people, so far people have been not really getting the utility of this. Now people will start seeing technology at home. This is something which is going to change probably a lot in the coming times. So two trends: contactless, smart, safety, because when you have a lot of gadgets, a lot of things at home, you need a lot of safety products at home, which and surge arresters, because this is where Indian electrical distribution system is so not so rugged. You have some large surges in the transformer. Probably you have some couple of your home theater systems. Your laptops can crash. Okay, so these are the things which we need to work on, and probably we are working very well on this. And we are coming up with a kind of a work from home kit and all these things which can enable the new ways of working at home and new normals. So these are the areas which we see the silver lining, Mohit, and we are quite optimistic about it.
Very, very, very useful, Shrini. I think very valid points being made about how we need to create products also that are smart and safe, both at the same
Yeah.
time. And on that note, Mukesh, I'd like to bring you in because at Welspun Floorings, you've got a variety of clients. You have a large number of hotels as well as your clients, and those are likely to be impacted for some time. But I also know that you had mentioned that you had come up with an innovative way of installation that speeds up, the floorings at various sites. So how have you done this? How do you think this whole aspect of health, safety, hygiene will change the way you do business?
Yes, Mohit. One big change that has happened within Welspun is we've started thinking of the entire ecosystem rather than just what we can do. So for us to succeed in the market and for customer to get the absolute wonderful customer experience, the entire ecosystem has to succeed. So we've been able to think of changes that are required not only by us but also by our partners. Like you mentioned, so we have a system wherein we can install in less than a day. So our installation can happen in less than a day with the complete process guarantees, wherein they will not touch any of your interior, they will not touch any of your objects while the installation is happening. On the other hand, flooring, particularly for offices, flooring is one of the pieces which doesn't get touched. So it's actually a no-touch product for offices. And we are by taking this advantage further, we are in fact just released a collection called Passion Fix Collection, which will guide interior designers to create a habit of social distancing within offices. So this is a flooring design that enables social distancing within the offices through design itself. So we have desks that are placed 6 feet apart. We have flooring design around those desks, which essentially subtly tell people not to go beyond this far. We have flooring designed for corridors in hotels, in offices, which will tell you the direction to walk in. So you can actually make a corridor walk only anti-clockwise or clockwise, so people are not inhaling air from other people while walking across them. So a lot of initiatives and fashion food collection actually we got a huge response from the customers. The other piece is everybody is talking about home. So work from home has become a norm or will become a norm going forward. Unfortunately, our homes are not does not have acoustic flooring. So that's the whole another part. We are coming up with a collection called Work from Home Collection. It will instantly make your home environment more acoustic, more conducive to your video conferencing and avoid echoes during video conferencing. So that's another collection that we are coming up with, which in less than a day, your home office will become an acoustic office. We are also working on antiviral carpets for hotels, antiviral carpets for commercial spaces. This is essentially what has been available in the market has been antibacterial. But what is the need of the hour is antiviral, and then bacteria and virus behave in a very different way. And bacteria are not contagious. Virus are, on the other hand, very contagious, as we all know. So we have a flooring that will cater to that need and will inhibit the development of the viruses once they are on the flooring. So through these new products, we are helping office owners, we are helping office designers to be able to build a better office and inculcate the habit of social distancing within the office and make environment safe for everyone. The other pieces, Mohit, that we are working on with couple of partners, one including cities. We are bringing showrooms to home. Now, people are wary of going out of their homes. How we can bring showroom to the homes of the consumer itself. So we are working on a VR technology wherein people will be able to visualize entire flooring. They'll be able to visualize the flooring in their home environment and how it interacts with their other materials like furniture, their paint colors, and all. So they'll be able to. Essentially, they will have a tool wherein they can make the decision in their home without moving out of the comfort of their home. Essentially, digitization end to end and personalization end to end. So that's where we are focusing on, not only on the new products, but the products that can help social distancing and the products that will help decide customers take the call without leaving the comfort of the home. So that's the new pieces that we are working on moving from our side. Mohit, are you there?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was muted and speaking. I was saying, can you hear me now? You should be. I was saying that this has been a fascinating set of learnings about how each one is actually coming up with ingenious solutions in this time. Hari is having a bit of a problem with his audio and video, and he's logging back in, etc. So he's doing that. But Rahul, while we do that, from your perspective, are you seeing the needs and the briefs of clients changing and factoring in these aspects of health and safety and hygiene and all of that?
Yes, absolutely, Mohit. In fact, we will have to. This is a new as new normal, wherein we will have to make sure that the new offices which are designed and executed have to follow a lot of norms in terms of having touchless entries, having sensor-based lights or sensor-based taps. All these measures have to be taken right in the beginning. Once we start making COVID-free spaces, which we call them. Yes, there is a lot of still people are trying to understand what is to be done and what is not to be done. So we should eventually get clear. But right from the design desk, the emphasis has to be that the offices have to be designed in such a way that we are able to maintain the social distancing. We are able to we make sure that people don't have to touch surfaces while you are operating, and etc. etc. So that is one part of it. But coming back to your original question, where we were talking about the silver lining of this crisis, I would say that I personally expect that the demand of office spaces is going to increase. The demand of co-working spaces is going to increase because you will see that people would want to go into flexible workspaces. People would not want to go into long-term leases, and that is a silver lining on as far as the office expansions or as far as the business is considered. Coming to one interesting part, which I would like to take a bit ahead, is working from home. So I'm very happy to know that, like for example, Srini was saying that they have created some electric kits, or for example, Mukesh is saying that they are creating acoustic carpet solutions for homes. So that's going to be very interesting. And I would like to add one more thing here, is that we will have to be very clear in our mind while these spaces have to be utilized in terms of home offices, so that how we are able to manage our homes and how we are able to quickly convert our homes into temporary offices during the days. That's the challenge. How do we well utilize the spaces? So I would say that, for example, the living room can be converted into a small, practically a very small and a flexible office, while multiple people actually would be working from the home in the family between husband, wife, and kids. So we'll have to be very careful where we are planning the new houses, which could be actually offices also in turn. So there are going to be challenges apart from introduction of technology, which is definitely going to be a part of it. But we will have to look at having more user-friendly screens at home. We will have to cater to the demand of mobile electrical points, which would be actually required during the office hours when people are from home. We will have to have sound air conditioning system. So all these points will definitely come into play. But in addition to that, there is one important segment which I can see opening here is home office furniture. So that's a segment which is definitely going to be again a silver lining, because people would be more interested in buying quick solutions, which are basically home office furnitures, or probably which could be converted into an office. As I said, a living room furniture could be quickly converted into an office setup, and then again going back to the living room concept when off office hours. So that's something which has to be introduced, and which could be, there could be a lot of demand for that. So we are also trying to see that how we can actually cater to that demand in terms of designing these solutions, in terms of creating this home office furniture in our factories, which could be affordable, which could be easy to move and move around, which could be very light in nature, and which could be flexible in terms of design and in terms of utility, is something which I would want to add here as far as home working from home is there. One risk, one part which is again very, very important here is that what are the risks of working from home? Because we've been saying that, yeah, we have to work from home. We don't have an option, although many industries would not be able to function 100% by working from home. But what are the risks we are talking about? Apart from obesity, which is a general phenomena, we all have observed that while we have been working from the last 50 days from home, there is going to be additional stress, which I would expect people who are working from home. There would be additional anxiety. There would be burnouts, because people tend to stretch their working hours during the day when they are flexible and when they are working from home. So you probably tend to take more breaks. So your work is getting extended. So that can create stress, that can create anxiety, that can create burnout. So these are the risks which I feel primarily are there. There might be many more which people can add to it. But yes, I feel working from home is definitely a great concept if people can manage that. But we will have to be mindful day one when we are actually acquiring new homes, when we are creating new houses, wherein we may not afford to have larger houses. We may not afford to have a separate room or a space which is converted into a full-fledged office. We will have to look into smaller spaces and how we are able to multi-use these spaces from home to offices. And that's what I feel is the need of the hour. Thank you.
So the way we work, the way we live, both are going to change dramatically. And I want to now switch gears completely to the third subtopic that we had. And I will request each of you to respond in a minute and no more than that, because we are running a little late now, but we'll make up time. We still have buffer. And here I want to actually get into the whole aspect of sales and marketing during the lockdown, post the lockdown, because what has happened is travel is at a standstill. So for a lot of sales people who were out there in the field, face-to-face meetings, all of that stuff. So, okay, sorry, Hari, you're back, I know. Are you? Hari? Okay, I can see Hari logged in, but I can't hear him. I will get one of our team members to check with him, but I will continue with this question and then come back. So essentially, how have marketing teams adapted? How have sales teams adapted? Do you see sales happening with reduced travel and therefore an increased dependence on technology, whether it is video calls, using Zoom and Google Hangout and Blue Jeans and Zoho and whatever else it is? Do you see collaborative technology platforms like Trezi, where you immerse yourself along with all stakeholders? Do you see this picking up? So from a design and marketing perspective, how much will collaboration actually contribute? How much will remote working actually help? And I want to come back, therefore, to Srini and start with you, Srini, while we wait for Hari to come back.
So, Mohit, it's going to be a phygital word. You told me to answer in 1 minute, just to keep it very short and crisp. Now, it's going to be a phygital world. I know now we have been hugely dependent on the physical activities, what we used to do, and the engagement, physical engagement, what we used to have with the different stakeholders in business. Probably the coming days are not going to be the same. That is where the phygital stories, thanks to Trezi, we had developed a lot of tools, digital tools, virtual reality tools. Now, probably it will come in help for us to reach out to more and more customers. Customers can sit in their own place and feel the product, get a sense of what they are buying, everything. So digital is going to be a very, very important thing. Yes, probably, earlier it used to be 80% physical, 20% digital. Now it is the other way around. Probably we will not be able to do 10 calls a day, maybe 4 or 5 calls a day on half a day in terms of meeting some of the large key customers, and then managing your low touch customers more on digitally. That is the way forward. Hello? Mohit, you're getting my...
Yeah, sorry. I mute myself and I forget. Hari, are you back? Hari? I think Hari is still having a problem with his audio. So I will, while we still wait for Hari. Mukesh, over to you on this question and your response.
So Mohit, we in fact took a hard look on how we will interact with our dealer partners and consumers post COVID scenario. Do we still want people to travel? Do we want them to avoid? So the first and foremost stance we took, health is first, health of stakeholders, health of employees first. So till the time we all feel safe, we are not traveling anywhere. But in the process, we mapped out each and every activity of salesperson and dealer and distributor promoter that they do on the floor. And I can say we've successfully been able to convert 90% of those steps into a digital step rather than needing a physical intervention. So for sure, world will go into a digital way. One of the best silver lining per se, as you mentioned earlier, out of this COVID scenario has been the communication. Even though we are socially apart, the communication amount of communication that is happening is multiple times more than we used to have before. Not only within the companies, but beyond the company itself. So that is helping a lot. We, in fact, are taking this beyond our own sales team and our own network, going to dealers, advising them how they should be COVID ready in case the consumer wants to visit or consumer does not want to visit, how they should still be able to take care of the customers' requirement through digital means. So we are providing portals to all the dealers wherein they should be able to secure the sale. They should be able to work with the consumer to help them select the designs, to help them select the products digitally, and having no need to have physical intervention at all. So I
Understood.
would say 90% we are already on digital.
All right. That's terrific. That's terrific. Hari, Hari is logged off again. I saw him for a minute. I think he's having a network challenge back home. So again, while we wait for him, Rahul, from your perspective, how do you see marketing? How do you see sales? How do you see business development changing?
Yeah, Mohit, I think, well, definitely the change is there. So we all have to adapt to the change. So point is that how do we do it? By maximum utilization of technology, which sounds a way forward. I would see a silver lining to it is that I would see that there would be reduction in traffic on the roads. I would see that we will contribute to the environment. I would see that India would become more cleaner because people will tend to we had this earlier mindset of actually going and physically meeting people and create that contact and then take it further, but which may not be really required. While we are all talking and interacting with each other, that means this is very much possible. But yes, especially in this part of the globe, we were very much used to physically going and meeting once, twice, three times, but that could have been always done on a call. I remember that when we used to, before this COVID times, when we used to sometimes had to travel from Delhi to Gurgaon, and it used to be 1.5 hour journey from one side. We always used to ask our clients, so can we get into a con call? Can we get into a video call? But there would not be that kind of an acceptance to it in general. But I can see that happening, and which is going to be a good thing. So I expect that we will have to change our mindsets. We will have to use more technology and come out with solutions which will help us contribute to the environment, which will help us reduce the carbon footprint, and we are good to go. So well, I see the positive part of it. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So Hari, are you there? Can you hear us? I can see Hari logged in, and I know that he's facing network issue. Hari, can you hear us?
I
No.
think, Mohit, let's go ahead because there's some
Okay, so
glitches.
at this point in time, before we move into the next one, I'm going to run another poll amongst the audience, and this the response to this should actually come from everything that you've been hearing our panelists say and from your own experience, which is that, in your opinion, what is the key driver for manufacturing, for selection and delivery, for installation processes to revive and get a positive, customer sentiment out there? So, from a health and safety perspective, from expanding reach, from process innovation, from product innovation. So this poll is now live, and you can respond to it, and I will then share the responses with our panelists and with everybody else in a little while. So please go ahead and respond to that while we keep the discussion going. And I want to now come to the other topic that we have on the agenda, almost the last topic actually, which is that evidently, and from everything that we are seeing around us, from everything that you have said, remote working is here to stay. And Rahul's last few points actually brought that across very clearly. So across geographies, with our teams spread all over, our clients spread all over, our partners, our vendors, our associates, we operate in multiple worlds, actually, in multiple geographies and multiple locations. And how do you see this level of collaboration happening, the kind we were used to in a pre-lockdown world versus the post-lockdown world? I know that the latest version of Trezi 1.13 and the version before that actually took collaboration up several notches. And with the building product manufacturers catalog now available on the library, whether it's whether you're a product manufacturer, whether you're a designer or an architect, whether you're a student, it is going to be a phenomenal use. So do you think that businesses will actually respond to and leverage technologies like these far better in a social distanced world? And Rahul, I want to continue with you for a minute before I move to Mukesh and Srini and hopefully Hari as he comes back. So how do you see this happening? And you've been using Trezi, but do you see any other changes happening to it?
Yeah, I do expect a lot of changes happening to it. In fact, Trezi has been a great platform, and we've been using it for a longer time now. We've been giving VR experiences to our clients, and they have been so excited to see it. They've been, because giving a virtual reality of what is going to come up eventually to the client. In earlier times, there always used to be a communication gap, because people who were designing were not able to communicate entirely that how the space is going to look like to the end users, to the clients. But with the VR and with technology coming in, we have tried to bridge that gap, and wherein people have to wear their gear there, and they're able to walk through the space virtually and understand and actually feel that how that volume is going to look like. So definitely this is the way forward, and I expect Trezi to add more tools to its softwares to make it more probably user friendly, wherein people are easily able to use this software in the comfort of their homes and visualize the spaces as and when required.
Got it. Got it. And Mukesh, how do you see this panning out? Because you also have clients all over the place, all over the country. You have teams all over the country. Over to you,
So,
Mukesh.
coming back to your first question, Mohit, work from home. And I keep coming back to your earlier question of silver lining. So another silver lining has been we've started trusting our team members to work from home. So
Lovely.
that never used to happen before. And for us to be able to understand whether somebody is working or not, the only way was to actually watch them working in the office. Now that's not no more a case, and we've realized everybody is actually super efficient when they're working from home. They're putting in voluntarily more hours into their work than they otherwise would, because there are 100 things on your mind: traffic while going back home, family, coming back from school, from the other office, and stuff like that. So, work from home, I would say, is here to stay, but will not be the only thing. It cannot. We won't shift from one extreme to another extreme. But I think the world will find a very sweet spot between work from home and work from office, and it will become a lot more flexible than it was before. So, and we are starting to see that in our own offices, in our own work. We, in fact, plan to continue work from home a lot more, even beyond the COVID situation, after it comes back to normal. It also helps social distancing in the office, Mohit, without worrying about increasing the capacity of the office itself. As far as collaboration is concerned, I know we have been working with Trezi to get the VR tool up and running, so we are very eagerly waiting for that to close it. We've already shown some demos to our customers, and we are excited about it. How they can choose flooring, so they don't have to think about whether what I'm choosing is right or wrong, or whether it will suit my taste or it will not suit my taste. So digitization for sure will take go ahead leaps and bounds from here on, and there's no other option. In fact, physical selling is out of the window as we speak.
Right.
It's,
Right. Right.
it's
Thank you. Thank you. Srini, what is your perspective on this?
Yeah, I think Mukesh ji said it well. I think we will find a sweet spot between work from home and physical wear. But I would go one step ahead. A lot of industries, I think, more than work from home, it is work from anywhere now. I think this is going to change a lot of social dynamics. I think one of the biggest trends what we used to see is urbanization. I think probably I don't know. This is one of the talk which is happening around a lot of people and a lot of sectors that de-urbanization might happen. So a lot of our urban population is because of the IT services and large services companies. So probably this is something which could change some of the social angle, and yes, probably the time will tell. I think we will find new ways of working, new ways of living. I think this is bringing in a huge change to all of us, and I'm sure all of us will embrace it. Okay. Second, coming to I think collaboration and Trezi virtual reality and stuff. I think I just want to highlight one of the point here. Probably we were overdoing it before. I met a few customers, and I used to see every customer's place so much of samples on their offices. They used to keep one room only to keep samples, and I used to ask them, "What are you going to do?" They say, I have a difficult time scrapping this end of the year. Every year we find ways and means to scrap this. Probably this was something which was an unproductive thing. We were overdoing it. Probably this will change. I think digital and Trezi's virtual reality solutions will enable customers to see and feel what he gets through these collaboration tools. Probably, this is something which will stop him going to shop and feeling things, or any product he is buying. He wants to see a multiple color. People used to say, "Give me a sample of all these colors." Probably these are the things, unproductive things will go, and it will bring more productivity and more meaningful to our buying behavior. I think
Got it.
this is a good change for me, I would say.
Understood. Understood. I'm hoping we have Hari back with us. Hari, if you're there and can hear us. Hari?
No, he's not there, Mohit. He's
Not there. All
still
right. So
leaving.
we'll have to try
Yeah,
again later. Just have to
we can
whatever.
just
I want to do two things now. One is share the results of the poll that we did on, what is the key driver to revive positive consumer sentiment. And it's extremely interesting because obviously health and safety are paramount, and that came through in our discussion as well. So there's an overwhelming 45% of people who feel that contactless minimum contact installation procedures like Mukesh was mentioning, and even Rahul I think touched on it, will be very, very useful. It's followed by product innovation, which is something that we heard from, again, all our panelists, that they are not just changing the way things will be done, but changing the products as well, and how we are engineering them for a new way of living and working. And that's closely followed by virtual reality and remote collaboration. Because once we've got new products out in the market, once we've factored in the health and safety concern, how do we get them across? How will we reach new consumers in a new way of working? And that's where VR, like Trezi and remote collaboration, will help. And followed finally by process innovation at 14%. So that's a very interesting way of looking at it. I want to actually now look at some of the questions that we've got, and we've got a huge number of questions because we've also had. I must share this now. We've had a record attendance for this webinar. At our peak, we had about 340 people, coming in, which we've never seen before, and we've been hovering around, 280, 290, 300 as people come in and out, like it usually happens. So I'm going to try and ask some questions from our audience as we go along, and let me just pull these up on my screen. 1 second. So the one of the things which is addressed to Rahul, and I think even Mukesh, you can respond to this, is from Arijit Koruri, who asks that the hospitality segment, hotels, restaurants, etc., have been affected very badly. Do you foresee any specific changes in the layout of these and the design of these establishments to take care of social distancing? Mukesh, you did touch on this, I know, but let Rahul respond first, and then you can come into this.
Yeah, so I think I said this in the earlier conversation also. The overall aspect of design will change. It is
Can't hear you, Rahul. Rahul, we can't hear you.
limited on the.
Rahul, I think, is having a network problem. So, Mukesh, will you just respond to that while Rahul tries to come back, perhaps? I know you did touch on this.
Sure. Mohit, I think it's not only a question of design, but it's also a question of trust. Um, as we all know, design, yes, we can induce social distancing into design right at the time when people are standing at the reception to either check in or check out. How the luggages are being stored, are they COVID safe luggage? How the staff is being handled in the hotel? How the staff is being handled in the kitchen? Are they following social distancing norms? So it's not only about design that customers are able to see, but it's also a trust that customers understand how hotel or restaurant is dealing with the design, which customers don't usually see. It's in the kitchen, it's in the back rooms, back offices and stuff. So that's one part of it. The other part, a very big part, will come in as far as health and safety and trust is concerned. Uh, as of today, when we enter in a lot of hotels, there is this flap around the toilet seat. The moment you enter it mentions seat is sanitized for your purpose. I think that will need to be done for the entire room going forward for customers
Right.
to. When somebody left and I'm coming in, there was a time in between wherein the entire room was disinfected. So that hoteliers will have to come up with new ways to build the trust with the consumer. Yes, it is safe to come into my hotels. Yes, it is all well to come and stay here.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. There's another question here that I am just pulling up. And again, this was something that I think you people did touch on, both of you, which is how do you see the future of co-working spaces going forward? This particular space was emerging well, but disruption has happened because of COVID-19. It's been asked by Sajjan Kumar. Rahul, if you're audible, can you try?
Yeah. So interesting. See, what I feel personally is that co-working spaces are going to stay. There is going to be a surge in the demand of co-working spaces. Although the organization or the owners have to relook at the overall structure and the planning. Like earlier, we had gone into this design strategy of creating a lot of spaces which were more collaborative in nature, and we were trying to create different types of settings, and people were made to sit very close to each other. So we will have to definitely look into that aspect, wherein we'll have to probably increase the desk sizes. We will have to look at other measures which will be important for creating social distancing, etc. But yes, the demand for co-working spaces is there. People would definitely want to operate out of a co-working space and not get into a long time lease because of uncertainty till the time things get back to normal, till the time we are again going back to the conventional way of sittings and etc. But yes, co-working space is something which definitely will be there, and there will be more demand, which would be expected in the
All right.
future.
All right. I think we have Hari back. Hari, can you try speaking and maybe we should be able to hear you?
Yeah, I'm back and
Ah,
I'm on the other side.
lovely,
I'm with the
lovely.
audience.
Welcome back. You've logged in as an attendee, but we've managed to get you back. That's great. I'm going to just take a
Thank you so
break in
much.
the questions and give
Technology
you,
helps.
a minute to actually share your views on something that everybody else had shared while, we were still trying to get you back, which is that how do you see the process of sales and marketing of your products? And I know you did mention the digital acceleration, but beyond that, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us on how that is changing?
Um, Actually, the social distancing has brought the contactless sales. I mean, everything is now centered around contactless selling, so that the general fear of contact breeding to contact of virus is eliminated. So, the COVID has made us think digitally today. For example, the marketing mind normally works on conventional lines. Today we are started thinking right from the simple thing like a product shoot or a collateral. We are keeping in mind the digital uh, requirement. We are getting into augmented reality. We are also getting into virtual reality. In fact, the Trezi's product is will be one of a very important tool for us in our journey to digital transformation. The entire order to cash cycle, we call it O2C, and the entire P2P, the payment procurement to payment process is also getting completely automated to bring in efficiency and productivity. I foresee the way sales will happen in future will be a little different. In the sense, there will be, of course, relationship will be a major quotient, which will be a part digital and part virtual, and also in part it will be physical. ER option is going to be a very exciting option for a simple reason. Customer can customize the product. You can imagine a customer using a ER or VR and then relocating the position of the product or changing the color in line with the interior, or also ordering a panel which he or she creates with let's say with her own creativity. She can simply create a tool and send it to us, and we can put it on the product. So these are the exciting
Excellent.
development. Even their photograph, family photograph, for example, if family is having let's say a birthday party at home, the kids photograph can come on the panel, digitally printed. It can be mailed through let's say e-commerce platform or our own website platforms also. These are very
Understood.
exciting developments. I mean, we're going to bring it is all technology is going to bring customer into product development.
So
That's
I think what
a
you're doing
fabulous
is,
thing.
yeah, what you're doing is involving the customer far more than what it was. You're empowering the customer a
Lots.
lot more, and this actually gives me
Correct.
a perfect segue to another question, which again, Hari, I want you to continue responding to, and I will then pass that question on to Srini of Schneider as well. And this question is from Professor Dinesh Sarin of the Goa College of Architecture, who's an architect and a visiting professor there. And his question is, a market that has gone unrecognized by manufacturers is the academic world. With blended education being the new normal, this is the right time for manufacturers of building products to engage with colleges of architecture. For example, and he's actually illustrated this, a design studio could be shared with, say, Blue Star, who could then engage with students real time to exhibit air conditioning systems or options, or lighting and controls. So, first, Hari, and then Srini, if you can respond to Professor Dinesh Sarin, please.
Sure. So the if it will involve students also, as I mentioned, this is going to bring in a wide spectrum of stakeholders, right from students who are involved in architecture and interior design, and also users on a real-time basis. They can get involved in the product and they can give ideas. This particular idea of creating or the printing the photograph came from one of the customer who's doing, I mean, incidentally, she is also a student in architecture. She has contributed to this idea. Also, partners, aligned partners also will come into the equation. We can take the help of wide diverse industries inputs into the aesthetics of the product. I mean, obviously, technical inputs or technical parameters will be different for a product that is more driven by the statutory and regulatory requirements. But what I'm talking about, the aesthetics, the application part of it, the usage, the size, I mean, entire marketing elements can be incorporated on a faster basis with technology.
Got it. So Srini, would you like to continue this?
Sure, I think a very valid point from Professor. I think well appreciated. I think we've been working a lot of educational institutes, building technologies for the future, and also to understand because the new millennials now will have a lot of new thoughts in terms of the new behaviors and the new trends in the market now. So they are the creators of the future. So I think we've been working a lot, but I agree with this point that we need to engage more, yes, do a lot more in this space so that now there's a better understanding of the needs, and we do a lot of co-creation there. So point taken. And today, yes, we have a unique process of developing new offers. Now we work closely with a lot of institutions like Triple ID, Indian Institute of Architects, and all these people, and a lot of designers around, where we spend a lot of time in terms of understanding their pain areas, challenges, problems, and also new trends, how things are evolving. So yes, I think a lot of more ecosystem needs to be developed. Some of the colleges we have built in a lot of labs so that people, students can get to know about the new technologies, what is happening at a very early stage. Okay, so we're already working with about 50 technical schools across the country, where we have done a lot of facilitated the labs, and probably it can go further. I think we should work more and more with different institutions in co-creating the new world.
Got it.
Fully endorse
Got it.
this.
So I'm going to come to the last question, which is actually an amalgamation of two questions that I'm actually combining, and it's from a person called Kapuganti Jagannath Gupta. and a gentleman called Gautam. And this is really about the fact that physical samples will take time. Physical samples are what people are used to. Replacing them in virtual reality, etc., will take time. And the related question is that, how are you seeing digital twinning, which is taking a physical product and then showing it in the virtual world? How do you see this actually having, a response? Do you see a large tech upheaval happening? And Mukesh, I know that you had talked about this in one of your remarks earlier and responses earlier. So do you want to just respond to this? The creating of digital twins for a VR-enabled world, for not having,
Uh,
physical.
so, people will be amazed if they look at the new technologies that are coming up in AR and VR. Of course, everybody's talking about Trezi, virtual reality software here, but the amount of advances that have happened in AR as well are huge. Apart from the tactile differences wherein you want to feel the fabric or the softness of the fabric, everything else can be converted into digital. We in fact have a software wherein you can see the texture of the fabric on the digital screen itself. So a lot of advances have happened. World is much further ahead than it was a year ago. Yes, I agree. It will not be 100%. We still need physical samples. But good part is you don't need physical people to be there with you in the conference room with the physical samples. So one can send the physical samples to a courier and then can have a meeting through web conferences explaining rest of the design pieces, rest of the pieces can be handled through digital pieces. Just one piece to handle a tactile sensation, to handle, understand how soft or hard it feels like, how the texture is. Everything else can be digital. So things have changed a lot. Between AR and VR, there's actually no need for a lot of physical meetings anymore.
Okay, okay. So that's actually bringing us towards the close of this session, and we've obviously loved the interaction with our audience, and it's a huge audience. Like I said, we had approximately 330 odd people at peak, I think. So I want to now ask each of you two questions, and I want two very very quick Twitter-like responses. Almost just 280 characters. And the first part of the question is one piece of advice that each of you would like to give to our attendees on life after the lockdown, number one. Number two, tell us one interesting thing about yourself that people don't know, something you have either done or anything interesting about yourself. And I will start with you, Mukesh. So one piece of interesting advice. Second, one interesting thing about yourself.
Uh, Piece of advice would be take it easy. There will be more lockdown. World is not going anywhere. It's certainly not ending. Not in our lifetime or not in our kids' lifetime. We know that for sure. So take it easy. Don't take stress. Things are here to stay for long, and we are evolved humanity is a lot more evolved. It will take a lot more than one virus to get rid of humanity. So, take it easy and don't take stress would be one piece of advice.
All right.
One thing
And
that
something that's
people don't know about me is I used to be a pace baller before I joined Welspun. So used to be a huge
wow.
fan of cricket, and like every Indian boy growing up in 90s, watching Sachin Tendulkar, watching Prasad, Srinath, used to be a pace baller. And also basketball player, but basketball never took off in India. So that's pretty much about it.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hari, over to you. One piece of advice and one interesting thing about yourself.
Yeah, I will not say in advice. They see that in the new normal post-COVID world, we'll have to learn to live with the virus. It is here to stay, and there is a famous say, "Jo darega, wo marega." So the fear breeds stress, and stress leads to lack of immunity. So we have to just live with it and then be safe. Take necessary precautions. That is my one piece of I don't know whether it's called advice. Second thing about me, which most of the people won't know, is that I love quizzes, and no, I was brought up in a time when quiz was very popular during the lockdown period. Our with our extended family of around 20 odd kids who are students, I had almost organized 10 quizzes, starting
Wow,
from
lovely.
it's about family, the ancestors, the on quiz on the COVID and general knowledge like that. So it was real fun. We really enjoyed it. Games and
Excellent.
quizzes mostly.
Lovely, lovely. And having been a quizzer myself, I'm so glad that there's somebody else who's
Oh
still
yeah,
keeping it alive.
that's good.
Srini, Srini, over to you.
Yes, very nice. If I have to give you my parting and a couple of points which could be interesting is one, take care of yourself. That is very important at this stage. Why? Because not only for yourself, when you're taking care of yourself, you are taking care of others also. So don't put yourself at risk. Second, I think probably one important thing what I would suggest you is be around with your people. It's important in these difficult times. There are emotions and a lot of things around in different ways. It's important to be with our people. Now spend a lot of time with your people. Not only it is just anyway we are with our family at home, working from home, but people are away. Normally we are used to work around in the same offices, different things. I think staying connected with our teams is very very important at this time. I think managing those emotions will be very very high.
True,
That's
very
my
true.
advice. And I think probably people what may not know about me is yes, interesting. I've traveled about 150 cities in India. I know that's something probably people may not in. So I'm literally looking forward to visit more cities and waiting for lockout and discover India much more. And that's something which I look forward to.
Great, great. Rahul, over to you quickly before we get knocked off because of the system time. But
Yeah, a piece of advice quickly. A piece of advice which I would say quickly is don't panic, guys. We will definitely bounce back to normal as soon as possible, and please don't get worried about losing your jobs. Please don't get worried about your salaries getting cracked. I think it's a very suffering time, but yes, this is definitely going to end soon. And that is one. And second is that we will have to change the way we live. We will have to change the way we greet and meet. When I say greet and meet, we'll have to see that अब जादू की जफ्फी नहीं चलेगी. People will not be able to, we'll have to live in a different way. We'll have to live. We'll have to change the ways we greet and meet. That's a piece of advice from my side. Um,
one
what people
interesting thing.
don't, I was just trying to understand. Um, I was graduate before I joined architecture. I did BCom
You're
first,
losing your
probably
voice.
a lot of people know what it is.
Sorry, we lost you for a bit there, but maybe we'll try and see if we can figure that out. Okay. So on that wonderful note, let me try and wrap this up now very quickly. Thank you, everybody, every single person who's attended, everybody who helped put this together. Our team at Trezi, our team at Epistle, our marketing agency, and of course all our panelists. Thank you, everybody. We will have the recording of this available tomorrow. I just want to hand the mic back to Tithi, who's the convener of this session, to let her close this. Over to you, Tithi.
Yeah, thank you all the panelists for such an engaging session. Thanks, Mohit, for moderating. Thank you all the attendees for your participation and the wonderful questions. I know we could not take all of them, but we will be sending the recording, like Mohit said, by tomorrow to all the people who registered, and also the answers for the questions that couldn't be answered and which were answered in this session. We will be back with some more exciting sessions for you under our webinar series. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And stay safe.
Yes,
you.
Thank you,
absolutely.
Tithi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.